Rachel Ayers.
And I'm Rodney Smith, 5-time GNCC champion.
We're here in Sparta, Kentucky, the home of the Kentucky Speedway. We're just minutes away from the racetrack here. We've had a 3-week break since our last race, but the drama has not stopped.
No, definitely. Chris Jinks is coming off a 2-win streak, and he's had 3 weeks to think about it. But Borch is the one that broke a tie rod that opening lap of the last race, and he lost that points chase that he's had all season long.
Bill Balance has been fighting for that points lead ever since the beginning, and he finally took it over. It's really showing that consistency is paying off.
Yeah, he's won 6 championships. He knows what it takes, and he's been consistent, and he's the one leading that points chase right now.
Well, the battle's just starting to heat up. We're halfway through the season. Let's head down to Jason and get a better look at the start.
Thanks a lot, Rachel and Rodney. Jason Wygant down here at the start of this Tire Ball Spartan GNCC. Here is the big question today. The one rider this year who's been able to put a win streak together, it's not the killer bees of Chris Borch and Bill Balance like we thought. It's Chris Jenks. He's won the last 2. And for riders 1 and 2, Balance and Borch, they cannot be happy about that. They have one goal today, and that is to get to victory lane. It's not about points. It's not about the podium. It's about stopping Chris Jenks' streak today. Now, in order to do that, they've got to handle this racetrack. And before we get racing, let's go to our Scott USA helmet cam and find out exactly what the Spartan GNCC has in store for these riders. Well, here is that racetrack. Scott USA helmet cam giving us the footage. It's rocky, it's rooted, and that means it's very slippery. There's very few spots on this track where you will have perfect traction. The bike will either be bouncing around or sliding around. And the further down they dig, actually, the more tree roots that are going to come up. So that's only going to make it slicker as the day goes on. This is what it looks like to the motorcycles, but of course you can see the twin tracks there. This course is designed for ATVs as well, and it is going to lend itself to some great racing. Here are some of the racers that will be involved in it. Bill Balance, our points leader, factory Yamaha racer, going for his 7th GNCC title this year. The man chasing him, Chris Borch, only 2 points behind. It has been a knockdown drag-out between these two all year long, the Killer Bees. Chris Jenks won 2 races in a row coming into this one. He has got a lot of momentum. He wants to become the first to win 3 in a row this year. And Dwayne Johnson has been the surprise of the season. Got his first podium last time he raced in Ohio. He is a rookie in the pro class, unheralded coming into this season, but he is opening up a lot of eyes this year. Here it is, the Spartan GNCC ready to go. They start with the engines off, they turn them on, and we go racing. The ITV Whole Shot Award on the line, and Bill Balance got himself the outside line. The bigger racetrack is the faster racetrack. He's got himself a whole shot. And man, how many times we've seen Bill Balance do this over the last probably decade. He just gets the jump. It's that first 5 feet that always rockets him into the lead. After that, the guys can keep pace, but the damage is already done. Bill Balance got himself in the lead. Let's talk to him.
Yeah, it's been pretty frustrating for me. I've been training harder than ever this year. My bike's working better than it ever has, but we get out front, we pull some good leads sometimes, and just something goes bad, something sour happens, and knocks us back to 3rd or 4th or 2nd or whatever it might be. So it's kind of amazing that I'm in the points lead after the trouble I've had this year, but we're just hoping to get everything on track. Yamaha's working awesome. The old suspension's working good. I've been riding a lot. And I just want to have a flawless race.
So far, so good. Jenks and Bithell in the 2nd and 3rd place spots. We got Dwayne Johnson in there and Borch back in the number 5 spot. Jeremy Rice in 6th. Rest of our field, Andy Lagston's with the Dirt First Honda, running the number 7 position. Brian Cook, welcome back to racing of Team Excel Motorsports. He is there. One of our sweep riders actually following him around. And it's Todd Demery, Brian Baker, and Max Smiley is Johnny Gallagher, William Yoakley here way back in the pack, along with Michael Houston, who actually won one of our races in South Carolina early in the season. This section of the course is deceiving. Suzuki Special Test, it's actually very slippery and a lot steeper than the camera would indicate. This is a difficult portion of the racetrack, and it'll get worse as the day goes on, as they just continue to polish that very, very slick Kentucky clay with each spin of those rear tires. There is Langston from the Dirt First machine trying to keep pace with the top 5. Balance out front, but look at this. A nearly trials level section. This is first gear, just barely able to get over these big boulders, and it is Balance, Bithell, Johnson. You can barely even keep up. I think that's Borch behind them. Unbelievable how close it has gotten early on this first lap. We thought Balance would try to pull away. Maybe he tried, but it did not quite work out for him. And there, hopping and skipping up the rocks is Jenks. That is Brian Cook in the hunt as well. Good to see Cook back in the hunt. after a shoulder injury early in the year. Well, we were just getting started. This pack is close. Those 5 guys, you can throw a blanket over them. So let's stay tuned. Racer TV and the Outdoor Life Network brought to you by Suzuki, ATV, Rocky Mountain Moose, Yamaha, and Polaris. ATV action here from Kentucky, and we mean action. Look at how close this pack is. That's 5th place Chris Jenks, Brian Cook in 6th. The top 6 riders are all within sight of each other. And that's going to lead to some great racing. Jeremy Rice taking a nearly stock Suzuki LTR 450 out there. We got Todd Demery, Brian Baker. Matt Smiley, man, has had a really tough season on that Polaris. He's inside the top 10 early today. Near the end of the lap now, look at Bithell right on the rear tires of Balance. So again, Balance not able to break away. Borch there in 4th, he's not able to break away. And we're used to that, problems for Smiley on the Polaris. Rolling back into the pits. He's in no hurry. That might be terminal damage to that machine. So the 1 lap is now in the books. And it is the Killer Bees, but it's not Borch, it's Bithell putting the pressure on Balance. He's in the number 2 position. These 6 guys, it is incredible how close it is right now. Brian Cook, the tail end of that group, has got to be happy with it. Back out of the racetrack now. Balance, Bithell, Johnson, Orange, Jenks, and Cook. That close. But trying to get everything inside of these guys is Jeremy Rice, former Pro-Am champ of the series. You see that his quad that he's riding is a little bit wider than the ones the guys have out front. Through the pits we go, wide open, up to the gearbox. 5-speed transmissions on these machines, and this is practically NASCAR style. They're almost trampling each other through. We head back out onto the racetrack now. Again, look at how polished that dirt has gotten. It's very slippery. Combine that with the tree roots, there is precious little traction out there. These guys have to be very gentle with the throttle and the brakes. They'll go sliding off camber into a tree or off the track like that other ATV down there on the left has done. Here's Rice still trying to track those guys down. You see the big wide Suzuki really helps him in the wide open portions of the track, but probably a little less maneuverability in the tight trees. They're still trying to get that thing dialed in. Now to the Suzuki special test. It is very, very slippery through there, and so far it looks like Borch has taken over 3rd from Johnson. Jenks is back there lurking. When will one of these guys decide to make a sprint? For the moment, they look content to race with each other. Someone is going to try to step it up. You can almost guarantee that. Now we got a battling pair of Suzukis. As Yoakley, who had a terrible start, has caught up to Rice, who's in the number 6 spot. So Yoakley coming from dead last to 7th early on here in Kentucky. Through the rock garden again. Balance battling that Yamaha, trying to stay up on top and keep this momentum going. Momentum is the key to these rock sections. You can't grab a handful of throttle on rocks. You'll just spin. You want to keep constant momentum, constant throttle, constant speed. Balance does it very well, able to maintain the lead through there. And Cook, you wonder how much endurance he has. Remember, again, he was injured earlier in the season. And look at this. Jenks has actually lost touch with this group. He must have made a mistake. Maybe he was the one that tried to turn up the wick and step up the pace. And it might have cost him. You see now, he's definitely letting all hang out. But the damage has been done. Now Yoakley has moved into 7th. And they've dropped Rice back a couple of positions here. Yoakley, again, started in dead last. Did not just basically hit the starter button and didn't get the jump like the other riders did. Brent Sturdivant now racing for the first pass is 8th. And Rice, putting that Suzuki through its paces, is in the 9th place spot. All right, all the way back now to the top 10. Johnny Gallagher, he excels when it's slippery. Very, very confident racing in the mud. He's actually buddies with the Balance boys, and he hangs out with them a lot. One of the nice guys of the series to hang out with. Solid top 10 performance right now. And here's his buddy, Bill Balance, leading this thing. Bithell and Borch, so it's 1, 2, 3 for the Killer Bees right now. And Bithell hanging tough. That kid is 17 years old. He just graduated high school. And he is up there racing with the best riders in the world at what they do, and that is very impressive. A very bright future ahead for that young man. Pick up who's coming through now. That is Yoakley. And here's the problem. Yoakley has just run into a huge gap between himself and the riders in front. It's kind of what Rice has to deal with right now as well, and that makes it very hard. When you can't see the guys, it's really hard to catch them. Those top 6, well, that's a whole lot easier because they can pace off each other. Now we're seeing the rookies battling it out. Johnson and Bithell back in the number 3 spot. I think that's Brandon Balance coming through there right now. Yeah, that's Brandon. That is the younger brother of Bill, working his way through what's become a very tough, almost supercross-like whoop section. Back to the leaders. It is Balance and Bithell. I cannot believe how close this is. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 now being Cook. So it looks like Jenks has made up some positions. He's closed the gap back up. He's gotten back around Cook. He is in 5th. And all the while, William Yoakley still charging, still trying to find those guys. He would love to be in that battle. He takes a look over his shoulder. He knows he is safe for the 7th place rider. That is Sturdivant. He's got a solid lead over him. Yoakley's now free to just let it all hang out and try to go after that top 6. 2 laps down now. Bill Balance continuing to lead, but it is not a comfortable one, I can tell you that. He has got a very hungry young man named Chris Bithell right behind him. Look at this. It's like lining up the ATVs at the local car wash. Just stop and go. It is close. Let's go to our tip of the week.
Here we have the G-Force Adjustable Width Racing Axle. Made from hardened chromoly steel, this axle is adjustable between 2 to 4 inches wide, wider than your stock. Comes complete with the Pawsey lock nut and the castle nuts. This is one of the best off-road axles available. Good for off-road GNCC type racing or motocross racing. Available exclusively at RockyMountainATV.com.
Racer TV on OLN, brought to you by Suzuki, ITP, Rocky Mountain Moose, Yamaha, and Polaris. Great ATV race on hand right now. It's time to go to the pits. There is Bithell into the LTERacing.com pit. Johnson is in. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like Balance. Well, he's already pitted, and I think that was Chris Jenks that skipped the pits. And he went around all these guys. What is the strategy? Let's talk to Bill Balance's mechanic.
Give him about a half a gallon of fuel. Should be good to go the rest of the way. Try to stretch his points lead out a little bit. We come up here for one thing, and that's to get this win and stretch his points lead out.
Well, Balance had it in his grasp. He was leading all the way, but now to the pits. Indeed, Chris Jenks has decided to go through the pits. He did not stop for gas, so he's now got the lead. And there it is. The GT Thunder Rider is going for 3 in a row. And no one else this year has even won 2 in a row. Jenks is on fire, but there's no way he's going to be able to go all the way to the finish without stopping for gas. He's got to try to put on an all-out sprint and get a big enough lead now so he can pit at the end of this lap and not get caught. Either way, it's a gamble, but so far one that has paid off as he moves up from the number 6 spot all the way into the lead. Yoakley and Sturdivant, 7th and 8th. Great ride for Brent, one of his best of the year, staying inside the top 10. Now there's Michael Houston. He's the teammate of Chris Bithell. He won the Big Buck GNCC down to South Carolina a couple of months ago. Johnny Gallagher is 10th. And Brandon Balance, that's one of Johnny G's buddies. Another one, that's the younger brother of Bill Balance, is back in 11th. Through the Suzuki Special Test, look how slippery it is now. Jenks is all over it. Same thing with Balance, just sliding side by side by side. Bithell right there with him trying to pull it off. Let's watch what happens. Guys grab a handful of throttle. If it goes one direction, they just counter steer. And watch what's going to happen here. Now it sends the quad spinning the other direction. So Jenks going to turn the bars one way, and then just spins the quad the other. Just a fishtail, I guess, as they go up that hill. He spun in 3 different directions. There's just precious little traction on that hill climb. Man, William Yoakley has been working hard all day after that terrible start. He's tried everything in his power to get within sight of those guys. But he's going to need to put binoculars on the Scott goggles if he wants to see them, because they're just that much farther ahead, and he just can't quite get a look at them. Into the rock garden. Continues to be Chris Jenks holding his own. He has definitely shown he has the speed once again today. Once he used that pit stop to get ahead, look what he has done. He has actually put some distance between himself and Bill Balance. Balance is going for it. He's pulled away from Bithell just a touch. So for the moment, things have stabilized. But again, Jenks will have to stop for fuel. How much fuel does he need? How quickly can they get in and out of the pits? Can he maintain the lead? Familiar iron cross bumper there of Chris Borich. He is in 4th. Then it's Johnson. Then it's Cook. Borich has got to step it up. No 2 ways about it. He lost the points lead at our last race in Ohio. He has got to get back into victory lane today. He has not been a threat for Balance, at least so far here in Kentucky. Yoakley and Sturdivant have been following these guys closely all day long. Sturdivant trying to find smooth lines. He actually ran up on that banking for a spell. And you don't necessarily go faster by doing things like that, but every little bump you miss, that's a lot less energy, a lot less pounding on you and your machine you avoid. White flag is now out. Jenks is in the lead, but he's got company. Balance is pumped. You see him shaking his head. He knows Jenks has to stop for fuel, and that might tell the tale, might allow Balance to get his lead back. But we've seen him hold the lead late in races this year before, and bad luck has struck him down. It is definitely not over yet, as we see the Hondas of Forage and Johnson into the pits. Let's go to our product of the week.
Hi, I'm Josh Upperman, Team Motorsport Honda rider. For this week's Motorsport Hot Product of the Week features the Alloy Evolution Kidney Belt. The Alloy Evolution Kidney Belt is designed for comfort as much as support. I wear the Alloy Evolution Kidney Belt because it helps my lower back, it keeps my back supportive, and it's very comfortable for me when I'm out on the track. And right now at motorsport.com, you can find the Evolution Kidney Belt and all the Alloy merchandise at unbelievable blowout prices. And that's this week's Motorsport Hot Product of the Week.
Welcome back, it's Racer TV. Chris Jenks in the lead, but he's going to have to stop for fuel here in the last lap. And Bill Balance just buzzed right by him. And there's nothing they can do, they're just waiting and waiting. They finally got only a small shot of gas, but the damage is done. Not only has Balance gotten to the lead, but here is Chris Bithell right behind him. Is there anything this youngster can't do? He's got a giant log trapped in his front bumper. It's not slowing him down at all. Jenks is right behind them. Where is the competition? Is it a three-rider breakaway? There is Chris Borge. Valuable points are now on the line. If Balance wins this thing and Borge finishes back in fourth, that could be a disaster for the rider that led the points for the first 6 rounds of racing this year. Back out front, special test. We got a lap rider stalled at the bottom. Look at this. Chris Bithell is not letting go. He's not letting go of that big stick in his bumper. He's not letting go of the bumper of Bill Balance either. Now the battle is on Borge. Well, Borge has passed Jenks. This time, the last lap not going the way Jenks has had it in the last couple. As we watch Cook work his way to the top of the Suzuki Special Test. Back to our leaders. Bill Balance has got to be waiting for this kid to fade, but he won't let go. Bithell is hungry. This kid is 17 years old, and he is racing with the 6th-time and defending champ of this series. He has got to be all sorts of pumped up. He might be tired, but he probably cannot tell right now with the adrenaline flowing. Here is Borge. Here is Jenks. Championship points for those two. They are running 2nd and 3rd in this series, and right now the buffer is Bithell, who is running between them and the series leader, Bill Balance. Back to the rock garden when you go, you see some of these other riders not as aggressive. When you go to our amateur classes, you give these guys credit. These are the guys that work for a living. They don't get to train and work on their equipment every single day, but they're going out there and they're riding. They're having a good time. A couple of 100 amateur riders out here today. If you got yourself an ATV, come out and go GNCC racing. It doesn't get much more fun than this. William Yoakley battling, fighting, scratching, clawing his way through this rock garden, trying to get into the top 5 after a horrible start. The rest of these guys rolling through. You see that Sturdivant there got held up big time. And that's making a huge difference. He still can't get around some of those riders from the other classes. Back to our leaders, it's Bithell and Balance. Bithell is still right there to that whoop section, trying to keep the front end light, trying to avoid nosing in and losing his momentum. Borge has got company. Jenks has not let him go. He has got to be upset that he has gone from 1st to 4th on this final lap. Time is winding down, and it continues to be Bithell. In fact, I could have sworn Bithell was actually looking around, looking for a line in that corner. Does he have a spot figured out? Checkered flag coming out. Battle still raging for 1st. Battle still raging for 3rd. But we're headed to the finish line. And guess what? Bill Balance is finally going to do it. The defending series champion finally had the flawless day he was looking for. But credit where it's due. And a handshake for the youngster who pushed him all the way to the finish. Chris Bithell, a career best 2nd place finish today. And here is a hard-earned 3rd. Chris Borge takes it to the podium and just missing. Wait a minute, that's Cook. Cook got around Jenks in the last lap as well. Let's go to our podium.
Yeah, I was running up there all day, coming close. I never felt that I was a threat until the end here last lap, and you know, things started turning my way a few times there, but I never capitalized on it, and you know, he stayed out in front, but hey, that's how racing is. But I really came close a few times there, seeing the lead.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come up here. This and Loretta Lynn's is our, you know, local track, so a lot of other people come up here with me, and that's pretty good to come up here and win like this. Got into the points lead and, you know, spread it out a little bit this weekend, so that's a good thing. And just glad it happened that way. You know, that's the thing about it this year. There's 7 or 8 guys out here that can win races, and that's what's making it so tough this year.
We like it tough. It's exciting to watch. This was another ATV Classic. There you see our top 5. Tough break for Chris Jenks' win streak comes to an end at 2 races. William Yoakley, terrible start as mentioned, ends up 6th. Valuable points lost to Dwayne Johnson, who now holds on to 4th in the series. Jenks 3rd, Borch 2nd. Bill Balance starting to stretch that thing out just a little bit. And he stretches the throttle cable to stop the big patented Bill Balance burnout on the podium. He is one happy dude. Not only has he won this race, he has begun to stretch that points lead out. $100 from ITP in his pocket, and a whole lot of friends and family here to watch him do it. Great racing out here today. Glad you could join us. With Rachel Ayers and Rodney Smith, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, Riding, Racing. AMA. Join now. Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.